Hey, welcome to my next review, Gemini Man, the latest Will Smith movie to hit theaters, and man, do I have a lot of things to say about this movie. This movie is pretty much just Will Smith being a total badass CIA agent. He works for the government and he pretty much uncovers, and that's the best way to put it when you see this film, this project that is called Gemini. So the whole point of Gemini is that there's a clone of Will Smith and he's supposed to get rid of him, and that's pretty much it. I mean, I've seen this story so many times. It could have been something cool. If anything, the visual for the copy that they made of Will Smith was actually very, very well done. But this story, unfortunately, was completely a mess. It was all over the place, and it was so hard to stay engaged in it. I was so bored out of my mind watching this film. And that sometimes is a problem with certain Will Smith movies. A lot of them are either hit or miss. A lot of them, and the ones that do hit are not like the highest reviewed. They're enjoyable movies. I love a lot of the other Will Smith movies. Like, I think Men in Black wasn't really high reviewed. Wild Wild West, I find that fun, even though it's not that great of a film. But besides that, I mean, this movie was just a complete mess, and it's just another thing to add to, unfortunately, to his resume of films that he's done. This is, I'm just saying it, it's not a good film. So one thing in particular, this story, there's so many plot holes in here. There's so many ways that things can be resolved, but they just keep jumping from place to place for no apparent reason to just have the answer, the literal answer to the whole movie is right in front of the face. I mean, how do you not piece this all together? I mean, it's just terrible storytelling, and it got me so frustrated at the end when they did the big reveal, or they have to do the big confrontation, and it was, oh my god, again, that's the main bad part of it. The second thing, what I was mentioning just a second ago, is camera work. Camera work for the majority of the film is just so boring. I mean, there's nothing interesting about it. There's no cool techniques or anything. It just felt straight by the book, and I mean, that just made it even worse. So some of the good things with this movie, unfortunately, there aren't that many. But the things there are somewhat save the movie and make it a little bit interesting. One thing, definitely Will Smith's performance. I mean, I feel like almost in any movie that he does, the majority of the times at least, is what I should say, the majority of the times, he rarely disappoints. He is such a versatile actor. I mean, I feel like he's able to do almost any type of role, even though I can see why people might think that maybe he's kind of doing the same thing from different movies. But I don't. I find him very, very engaging. He's a very fun guy. He makes the story maybe a little bit more interesting. I mean, just him alone is very, very good. So I was saying that there was problem with camera work in this movie because it was very, what I said, by the book, very boring. I said for the majority of it. The small parts in this film where they actually had very interesting shots, probably nothing groundbreaking, but it was still very, very well done. Mainly in the action sequences. That was one thing that kind of saved this movie. The action sequences were actually shot very well, and the action sequences themselves, the fighting scenes, were actually pretty interesting. And those were probably, if anything, the only fun things to watch in this movie. But certain scenes, especially one where it comes to the chasing, which you kind of see in the trailer, is the chasing between Will Smith's younger version and going after the current Will Smith. a lot of the camera angles there with the scene is actually very, very, like, it puts you in like perspective as if you were the one in the chase. So it was very fun to watch that part at least. It was kind of like first person almost, like from your point of view, and that's what made it more interesting, a little bit more fun. So yeah, unfortunately, even with those small little things, it's honestly not enough to save this movie. I mean, if anything, it helps you kind of push through the movie just a little bit and kind of keep it a little bit engaged just so you get through it. But the payoff at the end is just, it's whatever. It could have been so much more to this film, because I feel like Will Smith always gets like the short end of the stick with some of these films. I mean, he's a great actor, but a lot of the films, I don't know if it's him choosing it, I don't know if it's his agent choosing it, but I feel like he has so much untapped potential, and he's not getting any younger. I mean, we have Bad Boys 3 coming out. I mean, that's like him and Martin Lawrence's little franchise that they have there. But I mean, I don't know. It just it dumbfounds me to see such a great, talented actor be wasted on certain films like these. I don't know. It could just be a cash grab, if anything, too. But I feel like he needs to have at least like those 2 or 3 movies that aren't just iconic, but like showcase how great he really is. So, like I said last time, still trying to figure out a review system for this. What I will have to give this movie, I'm still going off number basis, so I'll give it between a 1 and a 5. This is definitely probably like a 1.5. I'm sorry, but this is not a good movie. It's only 2 hours long. I felt like I was there for almost 3 hours. It is just so dragged out. The story is, again, all over the place. They could have shortened up not certain things, a lot of things. And I think the action sequences could have been, I think, maybe drawn out a little bit more, because those were probably the only good things that were entertaining about the film, on top of Will Smith's performance. Again, other than that, yeah, gotta stick with a 1.5 on this. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. I finally have some sort of traction going on this review stuff. Again, comment if there's anything I need to work on. I'm still kind of tweaking some of like the shots and how so this one looks a little bit different from how the previous video looked. I'm still trying to, again, figure out exactly how to get the angles right, how to get the lighting right, how to make sure the editing is going to be done properly. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I will have another review coming out soon. And with that being said, I'll see you guys for the next one.